Well, hi there and welcome. It's Take Two with Jerry and Debbie and you. I'm Jerry Usher along with Debbie Georgiani. Our show team today is Ace McKay, Charles Beery, Michael McCall, and Matt Gabinski is on the phones. And we are going to be talking today about something that there's always a conversation going on about, where you live, where others live around the world. It's a constant topic of conversation because they're the homes that we live in. Debbie, we're going to be asking people, do you live in your dream home?
That is true. That is correct. That's the question we're asking today on Take Two. Are you living in your dream home? Now, before you answer that, let's just explain a little bit what we're talking about. It could be that actual home that has the great location, right? You're overlooking the water or something like that, or you have, just a beautiful backyard. It could be the size of the home. It could be the upgrades. You did all these cool things, all these features, the decorating and everything of the home. And how about the outside of the home? People drive up and they see a certain style and it's just, the front porch and all that and the white picket fence. Or just maybe it's the people that reside in the home, right? Your family makes it your dream home. The pictures, the memories, everything. So let's talk about that. Are you living in your dream home? Dream home is in kind of quotation marks there. So that is the question we're asking. And here is the number. Ready? Get set, go. Start calling 833-288-3986.
Yeah. And when we say dream home, we're really talking about, one that you are really content with. It doesn't have to be like super expensive. Doesn't have to be 10,000 square feet. Maybe it's just the home you really, really fell in love with when you were looking for homes and you decided this is the one and you got that one. Maybe it's close to schools and shopping that you were looking for. Maybe it was the rooms, like the different rooms set up. I once had a house where it was a 4-bedroom house. One of the bedrooms was converted into an office with floor-to-ceiling shelves, and I thought that is just perfect. I wanted that house. Maybe it's the amenities you always wanted. Maybe you have a great backyard for your dog or your pet. What makes your home so special to you? Why is it for you your dream home, if that is the case? 833-288-3986.
Today is the feast day of a very great saint, Saint John Vianney. Some say Vianney, and a great, great saint. And this is actually the 1-year anniversary of my mom's passing. She passed on this feast day. And I wanted to share with you, Jerry, and all of the Take Two family. I kind of arranged this little thing with my mom before she died, that she would kind of give me a little glimpse that everything was great, and we picked a very bright yellow butterfly as the symbol. And it's kind of interesting because in Arizona you don't see many bright yellow butterflies. Anyway, long story short, I went outside to pick up all the patio furniture because we had a major storm last night, and lo and behold, there was a bright butterfly stuck to my patio.
Nice.
So I don't know what that means, but it's her year anniversary of her passing, and she was a great lady. And she always used to say about Jerry, "What a nice fella he is."
That nice fella.
She always said that about you. Boy, oh boy, she didn't know you very well. No, I'm just kidding.
No, I think you're more right than she was, I think.
I'm teasing. Are you kidding? You were very good to my mom, and my mom just loved you. So, but yeah, he's swell. Our producer just said, yeah, you are. And, but anyway, St. John Vianney, great saint. People should read about his story. If you love the priesthood, you definitely love St. John Vianney. Wouldn't you say, Jerry?
Well, I was going to say absolutely. I had the great honor of reading at Mass this morning at my parish, and we've got a fill-in priest. Our pastor, Father Paul, would have definitely talked about St. John Vianney, but this fill-in priest did talk a lot about that, and of course, it brought memories for me flooding back of my time in the seminary, because St. John Vianney, for a long, long time, was the priest, the patron of parish priests, and Pope he's not a saint yet. Pope Benedict made him the priest, the patron of all priests. So, folks, this is a day you have to pray for your pastor. You have to pray for your priests. Pray for all of our priests today and pray for more of them. It's the feast of the patron saint of all priests.
Let me ask you a question, Jerry. We get a lot of our Take Two family that asks what seminary you attended. I can never remember.
Well, I was a college seminarian at Franciscan University in
That's what I
Steubenville.
thought. Okay.
Then 1 year each at Mount Angel in Oregon, St. Charles Borromeo in Philadelphia, and then
That's what I thought.
an internship. They call it a pastoral year, an internship
Okay,
for a year.
that's what I thought. I thought St. Charles Borromeo. Okay, that's interesting. And we want to. And this the feast is also can be moved to also Sunday. I've heard that before in other dioceses as well. Sometimes it's moved to this
That's
weekend.
beautiful. I think it's beautiful. Yeah.
Yeah.
Matt Gabensky tells us that was done in Birmingham by the bishop
Yeah.
there.
That's interesting. But folks, read about the saints, learn about the saints, very important. But we're talking about dream homes today. Are you living in your dream home? Do you feel emotionally, like Jerry said, content? Do you feel at peace in your home? Do you like the location? Do you like the people that are in your home? Do you like the walls around you? Do you feel that that presence of God in your home? Have you brought God into your home? So many ways we can cover this dream home existence. 833-288-3986. That's the number to call. Hurry, get to the phones, make your call. We want to hear from you.
Well, my two priorities, I actually have one of them right now. The two main things that I look for are a large kitchen, which I actually don't have right now. I've got, I think you named it for me. It's a galley kitchen or something like that. You told me one time. But it works. It works out well. But also the second thing is just a nice backyard. And I can just open the door and Duke has got room to roam outside. And so maybe that makes a dream home for you. Maybe, again, you're looking for a great home to raise kids. Perhaps you are in the home that you sought out and you said, this is what we want for our kids. Maybe you're just looking right now for that dream home, and you could be finding it difficult because, Debbie, for a lot of months recently, homes were selling so fast that you had to just snap one up, or you were going to lose out on all of them because prices, have been going through the roof. I think they're kind of stabilizing or coming down a little bit right now.
Yeah, my husband's a real estate broker, so yes, I hear they're starting to level out, which is good, so people can try to enter in and have, there's not such this competition that you have to rush to just take the first thing that you see. But I was laughing, folks. Yes, I was chuckling as Jerry was speaking because I just thought of Duke. We bought a house for Duke so Duke could have a place to run around. That is hilarious. Okay.
All right, get on the phone. Join us here. Do you live in your dream home? Are you still looking? Maybe it's the home you grew up in and you said, this is my dream home. I just want to stay here. 833-288-3986. We're going to go to Patricia and then Elise and Patty coming right up.
真理に生き、カトリックに生きる。
Mark tail an Ernia, Mark tail an Cascas.
Satyanijaga Katolikraha.
In any language, it means the same. Live truth. Live Catholic. EWTN.
Archbishop Cordileone talks about the National Catholic Register.
The register's content is so critically important in the society we're living in now. There's an absence of the practice of religion in public life. So all the more important is it for people to be reading the register so that they can acquire more understanding of our Catholic faith. I've appreciated the catechetical benefits of the content of the register. It presents very clear Catholic teaching in a way that is easily digestible.
To get 6 free issues, order online at ncregister.com/radio or call 800-421-3230 and mention code radio. That's ncregister.com/radio or 800-421-3230 and mention code radio. Call or click today. The National Catholic Register. Read faithfully.
EWTN podcasts are available on Spotify. Weekday shows from the Sunrise Morning Show through Cresta in the afternoon, plus the latest weekend programming. You can find it all at Spotify.com.
We're talking about, in quotes, dream homes today. So we want to hear from you. Are you living in that place that you really find that you can actually call it a home and you love it and you long to come home to your home, your house, every day after work? You just race in the car and race home because you can't wait to just unwind and be in that wonderful, safe place, right? Is that something that you can relate to? That resonates with you? Please call in 833-288-3986, and we'll get to Patricia in just a second. Patricia, please let me share this with the Take Two family. Why? Because I love church pop. I have said it every single time we do the show. Church pop is awesome, and you can get the emails from Church Pop. Church Pop takes a fresh and fun look at the news shaping our world, featuring engaging, inspiring, and informative Catholic social media content. Find it on Snapchat, Instagram, and on the web at churchpop.com. And you can get Church Pop directly into your email inbox. That's what I love, because it comes in now. It comes in a half hour earlier. It comes in about 3:30 in the morning. Visit EWTN.com and click on subscribe. Used to come in at 4 in the morning. Now it comes in at 3:30.
It's funny you'd mention that. I actually woke up at 3:29 this morning and decided to pray. Anytime I wake up during the night, during the 3 o'clock hour, I always pray a chaplet of Divine Mercy. So,
well, that's very interesting. You woke up at 3:29 this morning. We're on the same time zone. And remember, this is when my mother passed, and she passed at 3:04 in the morning, and 3:29 was when they came in and wrote the final, papers on her, and then started to take her out of the home.
Wow.
Yeah, isn't that interesting?
She must have woke this nice fella up.
The nice fella up so you could pray. Yeah, that's very interesting, because they were very quick. It was very fast. Okay, Patricia is driving through the great state of Colorado. Patricia, be safe. Listening on the Ave Maria radio app. Hello, and welcome to Take Two.
Hi, Debbie. Oh, I'm a very safe driver. I really am.
Good.
Yeah. Thank you. Yeah, thank you for those thoughts. So I guess I have a favorite house. It was where I felt the very closest with my husband the last year of his life. I don't know that we've ever been closer. Of course, that's probably pretty normal. So I have a favorite house, but I'm going to tell you that I don't have a dream house yet. I'm going to be 75 next month, and so far I've lived in lots of houses, but they're not my dream house. My dream house is not of this world. I'm looking forward to my dream house. Yeah, that's where my dream house is.
Yeah, that's beautiful. Awesome, Patricia. Great perspective on that. It's interesting. You said you've lived in a lot of houses. Most of us have now. I mean, Debbie, there was a generation or two ago, you kind of grew up in the same house and and then once you got a job, it was in the same area. Families were like close together and stuff. But now we do a lot more moving around. Being in radio, I can't tell you how many times I've moved, but but I'm kind of like Patricia. I haven't yet had that total super dream house on this earth yet, but looking forward to the one in heaven like she is.
Yeah. That is a wonderful outlook and attitude, Patricia. And I wish more of us would have that, because I think when we keep that bigger view, the broader perspective, our destination place and where we're headed, it makes, I think, this journey so much more bearable, so much more enjoyable, and meaningful, right? And I'm really big on focusing on the eternal. I'm very big on it now. Recently, it's been about the last couple years, and it has changed my spiritual life tremendously, because I've shifted focus, and I can honestly say this, Patricia, and tell me if you agree with this. I'm in amazing interior joy because of it. And we're sorry for your loss. Please, before we let you go and continue driving, please give, if you feel comfortable, please give us your husband's first name. But what do you think about that? Once you have that bigger perspective, there's a joy that comes with it.
That's indeed true. His name is Richard. I'm looking forward to seeing him again. And yes, indeed, the older I get, the more I learn, the more sometimes I just almost feel a rush of excitement, thinking that, yes, that's where my destination is. So, yes.
Mm-hmm. I do too. And I know it sounds like, you're not trying to be presumptuous or anything like that, but I agree. But honestly, Patricia, when I'm reading the lives of the saints, they felt that too. So I think we're on to something, and I think it's important. It's unfortunate that we don't hear a lot of it in homilies that much. We get a lot of people from around the world actually that share with us, weekend homilies and stuff. And I wish that our priests and our deacons would preach more on that, because I think it could really help people navigate life. What do you think about that, real quick?
I do agree. Yes, absolutely agree with that. I know they have a hard job. Trying so very hard. But yes, there are some things that are lacking, and so it's all just a sort of a learning experience as we go, isn't it? So yeah, they do experience that.
Absolutely. Patricia, thank you for joining us here. We so appreciate that on Take Two with Jerry and Debbie. I'm kind of laughing because, when we look at our dream home, Debbie, as being in heaven, then any home we live in on earth is like a motel, it's a sort of stop on the way. And then I was remembering St. Teresa of Avila talking about this life being one long night in a bad motel. We got an open phone line, Take Two with Jerry and Debbie, and you talking about homes today. Have you been in that dream home? Again, it doesn't have to be a multi-million-dollar home. It could be just the one that meets all of your desires and your needs. 833-288-3986.
Elise is up next in Indiana on Annunciation Radio. Hi, Elise. Welcome.
Hello. Can you hear me okay?
Yes.
Just fine. Yeah.
Good. Yeah, so I wanted to call in immediately because I really do feel like I live in a dream home for me. I live in what was my grandparents' home. They found this old abandoned farmhouse back in the 1960s. They were just driving through the countryside, and they passed this beautiful property, and there was an old house sitting on it that was like trees growing out of it and raccoons living inside and everything. But they had this vision as soon as they saw the place that they could turn this into something. And so eventually, after a lot of renovations, they moved in and sold their other house. And it's especially special because with them on that first drive past the house was their son, my uncle, who was a teenager at the time, and he just fell in love with the property. And he died shortly thereafter in an accident. So when the family moved into that house, they felt closer to him after he had passed away. So the house was just really special from the beginning. But my grandparents lived there, from the 1960s onward. They passed away in the house. They willed the house to my mom, who lives right next door. That's where I grew up, right next door, through the woods. And then eventually my mom just decided to put the house in my name because I was living there when I grew up and, was ready to move out. I just moved in there. And I'm a big family person, so I love living short walks through the woods from my mom and my dad. So it's just wonderful. And I'm single. I live there with a cat, and I just love the place. It's on 40 acres of beautiful land.
Wow.
There's woods, there's trails for walking. It's really everything I could ever want, and it's sentimental as well. So it's just perfect for me.
Wow. Elise, thank you so much for sharing that. And, what you're saying is so near and dear to my heart because I never, like I said, I've moved around so much for career purposes. But, I was thinking about, you're living in the home of your grandparents, and it's an older home, like you said, and it's probably got a lot of charm and so many memories. And your family is still around in that area. And that's just something that it just isn't that common anymore. And so I just love the way you described it. You and your cat probably have a wonderful existence in that house, again, with all the great memories.
Elise, as you were describing it, I was thinking, do you have any room for us?
I sometimes thought about I could have a retreat, have one of the rooms be a place people could come on retreat because it's very restful.
Right. With the 40 acres, we could pitch a couple tents. You wouldn't even find us.
Yes.
No,
I just feel really blessed. I've had a few thoughts of moving for a job every now and then, but at least at this season of my life, I just can't imagine moving. I love being close to nature, so just to be able to go outside every day and pray out in the woods is really valuable for me.
Yeah, and close to family, and it's so beautiful. You're living in a little slice of heaven, Elise.
Yeah. I call it my hermitage.
There you go.
Nice.
There you go. Yeah.
See, now we're definitely going to visit. Okay. That's a great, wow. I can picture it. Could you picture it? 40 acres. Amazing.
Yeah, how far are you, if I may ask? Well, Elise just dropped off. I was going to ask how far away she is from, I think it's in Huntington, the monastery where Father Solanus Casey, Blessed Solanus Casey was located. That would that's a beautiful part of the country. That would be great to take Jerry and Debbie Stand Tall pilgrimage to.
Yeah, absolutely. That is amazing. Okay, see how we learn and grow together, and we get some great future ideas for us to all gather together and grow in our faith. Where are we going next? I just want to say real quickly, we're getting messages coming in. A lot of people live in their dream homes, and it's because of the people that are in their home. They feel very comfortable. Isn't that beautiful?
Yeah, that's awesome. 833-288-3986 if you'd like to join us. If you just tuned in, Take Two with Jerry and Debbie and you. We're asking you, do you live in your dream home? Again, it doesn't have to be one that took all of your money to get into it. It doesn't have to be expensive. Just close to whatever you want to be close to family, close to schools, shopping. Maybe it's got the different rooms laid out the way you want, amenities that you're looking for. Doesn't have to be expensive. Great place to raise your kids. 833-288-3986. And we'll go to Patty in Massachusetts listening on the Station of the Cross. Hi, Patty.
Hi. I was calling because this is so timely. My son lives out in Wyoming, and recently I live in the same place I lived in when he was young, and my ex has been trying to break into my house, and I don't feel safe anymore. And I have the opportunity to perhaps buy a house that abuts my son's house out in Wyoming. I don't know if it would have come through or not, but it seems like it would be perfect to go and be safe and be close to my son. And so I'm kind of hoping we can get a little prayer to, if it's the right thing, that it come through.
Patty, I have to tell you, if it's God's will, I hope you get to do that. I think that's just precious, that your son, you'll be very close to your son. That's important. As we all get up there in years, you sound very young, but as we all get up there in years, it's nice to be near family. I definitely would want to see you safe. You should not be in fear in your own home. So I'm going to be praying that does go through, definitely, Patty, for you, because I think it's very important as we all age to, if we can get closer to family, I think it's important. What do you think, Jer?
No, I agree. It's a beautiful part of the country that you're talking about moving to, Patty. And not only can your son maybe assist you in certain things as the years go on, but I no doubt you have ways that you could bless him too, if you were that close and being able to spend that time together. Do you have grandkids there? Does your brother? I mean, your son? Does he have kids?
Not yet, but he's got a girl he's interested in. So I'm hoping.
Good. Praise God. Another thing for us to pray for.
Absolutely.
Yes. Patty, keep us posted. I have a good feeling about this. I think you're going to make, I just feel it. And keep us posted. And Jerry and I love Wyoming, just to let you know.
Oh, good. Yeah. Do keep me in your prayers.
Yeah, we will do that. Thank you, Patty. God bless you.
Thank you, Patty. Beautiful. See, I love that. Family is asking the kids are asking their parents to be close to them. That's a beautiful thing.
It is. It is, yeah. 833-288-3986. We're going to get to more of your calls in just a moment here. We got a short little pause coming our way. This is Take Two with Jerry and Debbie and you. And on the lines, Rosie, you're going to be next. And then we will go to, not necessarily in this order. We'll see what order they come in. They go in the order you called in. Michelle and Marie and Bernadette are on the line as well. 833-288-3986. And Debbie, we should let people know that there will not be a part 2 of this program, even though it's already got the feel of a part 2 coming. But we have a special show tomorrow that's once a month.
Once a month, on the first Friday of every month, we dedicate it to the Most Holy Eucharist. It is the real presence. We want to learn and grow together. You know, our bishops are putting forth a program for us to be catechized and formed in the faith well, so we understand the source and summit of our faith, the Most Holy Eucharist. So we decided here on Take Two to dedicate the first Friday of every month to the real presence. It's this program tomorrow is very popular, and people are learning and growing, and people are taking a second look at understanding the Eucharist and really understanding it in a deep way now, and that's a good thing. So it's really working in the hearts and minds and souls of others.
Yeah. Well, we're so thankful to our bishops for doing this. And I think, Debbie, my thought is, and I'm sure you'd agree, a look at this close examination of the Eucharist over a 3-year period can only bring good graces and blessings into our church in this country and hopefully around the world, and kind of parlay that into a more and more people believing in the real presence of Jesus in the Eucharist, because it is the source and the summit of our faith, folks. All right, 833-288-3986. It is Take Two with Jerry and Debbie and you, and Rosie is going to be next in just a minute.
Psalm 1, verse 1 says, "Blessed is the man who does not walk in the counsel of the ungodly, nor stand in the way of sinners, nor sit in the seat of scorners." What does that mean? Don't hang around with bad people? No. According to G.K. Chesterton, it means something much better than that. He says that there are certain people who, because they are really pure, create a good atmosphere around themselves. They are truly children of light, and that light shines on everything they touch. So it's not that hanging around bad people makes us bad. It's that being righteous can help make the people around us righteous too.
Spend more time with the Apostle of Common Sense. Visit chesterton.org for more information, and go to EWTNRC.com to discover more books and programs written and inspired by G.K. Chesterton.
This is Debbie Georgiani. If you missed part of today's show, catch the encore tonight at midnight Eastern. Check out the podcast anytime at EWTNradio.net and click podcasts.
The most original and exclusive Catholic content is on EWTN Radio.
I'm a Dominican, and St. Dominic was an itinerant preacher who ran around and touched people's lives by open-air preaching. The radio opens the possibilities of doing this to the entire world in a very intimate sense.
EWTN Open Line Thursday with Father Brian Mulady. This afternoon, 3 Eastern on EWTN Radio.
Hi, this is Cy Kellett. Join us later today on Catholic Answers Live as we do our best to explain and defend the Catholic faith. Catholic Answers Live, 6 p.m. Eastern on EWTN Radio. Now back to Take Two with Jerry and Debbie.
We're talking about your dream home today, and if you're living in it, we'd like to hear from you. There is one open phone line. I think it has your name on it. Hurry, 833-288-3986. But as promised, we are going to Rosie in Oregon and listening on Ave Maria Radio app. Ave Maria Radio app is popular today. Hi, Rosie.
Good morning. It's so good to be able to talk to you two.
Likewise. Thank you.
I'm just, I'm trying to keep finding the words to express this, but we've been so blessed. I think we're in our third dream home, and we've had a succession of homes. We were 36 years in an old family home, remodeled a couple of times. We raised our 9 kids. And then when the last one left, we were able to build a house in a beautiful area in the Northwest here and in the Pacific Flyway over in Oregon. And the kids enjoyed visiting us there, too, and that was a dream home in a lot of ways. It had amenities, of course, when you build a newer home that are really easy to live with. But they loved the outdoors, and they just enjoyed it. And then as we got older, we found that more difficult to live there because it was almost 20 years. I'm almost 86, and my husband's almost 88. But now we are downsized moved back into a little town here close to our last piece of property, which is at a local graveyard. And we live alone. I mean, we're able to live independently. We're going to be married 68 years this coming Sunday. And so it's been a real gift to be able to, still function. And we're a lot slower and creakier, but to live together and to be able to do our little household chores and have family over for family dinner. And it's just a gift. It makes a dream home out of it. It doesn't have the physical amenities that it has. Well, my granddaughter, the only home she ever saw was the one we had, the one we built, the beautiful one. And she said, "Oh, Nana, don't you miss that house?" And I tried to explain to her that I did in some ways, but what makes a home a beautiful home is the spirit of the people that live there. And if you've got that spirit between you, then you've pretty much got it nailed.
Mm-hmm. Wow, Rosie, thanks for calling. And you called early and waited a little while to get on, and we appreciate that. And as you're talking, God is so good and generous. The Bible says, God wants us, Jesus came that we might have life and have it in abundance. And that doesn't necessarily mean riches and wealth and all of that, but an abundance of beauty and an abundance of love around you, an abundance of family. You and your husband have done that, like you said, with the 9 kids. I'm originally from Seattle. I lived 18 years in Portland, so I know various areas of the state of Oregon. And you have such beauty there, just amazing beauty. It has to remind you of God every time you see it. And, I feel, in a sense, a little bad for people. You're a little bit unique, at least in today's generation, I think, Debbie. The story that she's telling here about the homes they've been in and the family being connected and all of that, a lot of that is lost now. And I just feel kind of sad about that.
Mm-hmm. I do too. But hearing your story, Rosie, and the others, it gives us hope and makes us, feel encouraged about things. But Rosie, can you share your husband's first name? I want to put you guys in the book.
His name is Richard.
Richard.
We're Rich and Rosie, and he likes to say that's name, not a situation.
Rich and Rosie,
yeah.
I love that. Isn't that sweet? But Rosie, I'm so glad. I was waiting. I wanted to see who the first person was going to be to use the word downsized. I wanted to see and you were the first one. And I can so relate to your story because, when you're building that quote unquote dream home to raise your kids or, to watch your family grow, it's a beautiful experience in so many ways. You get really invested in that home and there's so many memories and it's usually quite big. It's very spacious and stuff. And then you make that decision to downsize for whatever reason. And with that comes a whole new set of emotions and feelings. But I have to tell you, Rosie, I share so many with you because I live in half the size that I used to live in. And everybody always says to me, don't you feel cramped? Don't you want to get back to, I'm like, no, it takes me 2 hours to clean the whole entire house from top to bottom. I love it. It's so fast. It's turnkey. And Marty and I have a blast because we're not tied to all the duties and the chores of the home. And so I feel very free, but I agree with you. The spirit of the people living in the home makes the home filled with joy and laughter and excitement and fun and peace and safety and all the beautiful things that I believe are a little slice of heaven. So I can relate, Rosie, and we just wish for you and your precious husband, Richard, that you have many, many, many years in your beautiful home.
Thank you. Thank you for a chance to talk about it.
You're very welcome. Thank you for calling. We appreciate it. It's a Thursday Take Two with Jerry and Debbie. A lot of activity on the phones here. We might you often think of doing a part 2, but as we mentioned a few minutes ago, tomorrow is first Friday of the month. We want to honor Jesus, his passion, death, and resurrection, and the real presence in the Eucharist. So that's our topic tomorrow on the first Friday, as it is all during this year of 2022.
It's such a great way to go into the weekend, don't you think?
Mm-hmm. Absolutely,
mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. We're getting a lot of messages coming in about Elisa's call from Indiana. That everybody wants to go to Elisa's 40 acres with us. Okay. Elise might have a big family showing up.
Yeah, right.
Okay. Michelle in Springfield, Illinois on the EWTN app. You've been waiting so patiently. Welcome, Michelle.
Oh, thanks. I really enjoyed you guys. I stumbled on you about 2 years ago, and whether it's a melancholy subject or an uplifting subject, you guys, just the way you dialogue back and forth, it's always, I get something out of it, and I share. And I'm going to share a little bit of what Rosie was saying. My husband and I were a little time down. We were married 34 years when we married. October 21st, 34 years, and we started out with very little. Both of us came from very meager means, and we bought our first home when we got married at 21 with nothing down, FHA. We've moved many times. We stripped wallpaper, and he's worked so hard, and we've sold houses, and we're in a dream home now that it's the little things, and I think of St. Teresa's little flower, the little things that he does that make it really special. Like, he's had melanoma, but he insists on manicuring our lawn to the nth degree, where we have strangers coming up to our home. Beautiful lawn, it's like a golf course. And the little things that he helps provide with his hard work to make it special for me, like the house is new, which both of us never even knew anybody that built a house. I mean, we're just from very meager means. But I wanted to get, it's called a cornice. It's over the, if I'm saying it right, it's over the window and over the patio. It's wood, decorative wood, and he made it his obligation to get that for me because I mentioned it was something I wanted when we built this home. It's called the spec house, which it was kind of neat because all the hard stuff is done. You pick out little things you want. And we were so blessed because we had the nicest people, whether it was a finished carpenter, the tile man, everyone was just unbelievably wonderful. Whereas a lot of times you'll meet people who built a home and they just have a nightmare. I believe God provided this to us as just a blessing. And my husband's been such a blessing. We've had a lot of physical things over the past couple of years, being married as long as we have, and just over the years, different things. But I'm going to piggyback off what, again, Rosie said. It's the little things that mean so much. That's what that you take with you from home to home, and you take your memories with you. And I would just say to anybody, any young couple, it's a lot of grunt work. It's a lot of that sweat equity, and don't be discouraged. You have a long road ahead of you, and I know a lot of people compare themselves like what other people have, but just stay for the long, the duration. Stay for the duration and just get that mindset of a team together. And then when you look back at the wallpapers you've stripped and the cabinets you've taken down and refinished, at the time it's not fun, but you look back at those and just think, wow, we did that, and we maybe blessed another family, and then you reap the benefits of your hard work. So
right.
I just wanted to say thank you very much for this topic. It gives me a chance to really kind of tell about my husband, who's been just an amazing caregiver to me, especially recently.
Michelle, can you give us his first name?
Dave, Dave. And we'll be married 34 years this October. So we're a little behind Rosie, but a lot of similarities. So I hope we make it as long as they've been together.
I just want to hear you correctly. Did you say Gabe?
No, I'm sorry, Dave. D as in dog, Dave.
Dave. Okay, Dave. Got it.
Sorry, Dave.
Okay, I just want to make sure because it was a little fuzzy coming into my headset. But Michelle, I wanted to. You have a very deep sense of appreciation. It comes through so clear, crystal clear, actually. You really have. I almost hate to say it this way because it's used so many times in these motivational talks and everything, but you kind of have found the meaning of life, haven't you?
Well, you know what? I have to tell you, I'm no choir girl. Let me tell you, when I was younger, I was like seething after other people's, they live in this kind of house. But you know what? As you mature and you realize that's not what's important. You mature, emotionally, obviously physically, but and you look back and you realize those were the times, it tries your soul when you're stripping wallpaper and it doesn't want to come off and you've got vinegar running down your arms because that's what they tell you to use, and it burns and all those things. But you look back on those times and go, wow, we work together towards a goal. But at the time, like when you're younger especially, I think, and I want that caveat to young people, don't fall into that trap. Don't, think any less of yourself as a couple or I'm not doing the right thing. Just keep it focused on you and your husband. Ultimately, the goal is to get each other to heaven. But while here on earth we're living in the domain, just be supportive of each other and, just overlook the things that, if you can, that bother you about the place you're in, because you're on a journey together. And don't worry, you don't have to get to that beautiful dream home at 35.
Well, right. And comparison, when we compare ourselves to others or to what they have or their status or anything like that, we really lose track. We start to wander into other people's territories, if you will, and it's not our path. Our path is our journey, our path, our pace. And I so agree with you, Michelle. It only comes with spiritual maturity, an understanding and age and wisdom of looking back and saying, wow, those were moments that were precious. They were, they were memories that we have, and they were life-changing. We learned, we grew from them. And that's what I always tell people. Please try to stay in the moment and really get the essence of what each moment is trying to teach you in that when you enter in, because your presence, there's a reason why you're present in the moment at that particular time. There's a reason. You're not just there, just floating through like autopilot. So it's very interesting, but you're right. It only comes with maturity and age and everything. I wish our young people would gather that. That's why when I meet young millennials who feel like old souls, I always say to them, have anybody ever told you you're an old soul? And they go, yeah, I've heard that. Can you explain to me what that is? And I'll explain it to them. So Michelle, great story. Jerry, I'm sorry I'm hogging the mic. What do you think?
I can't add to any of that. I think it's fantastic. I agree with everything that Debbie said, about where you seem to be, Michelle, in that mature place, and you and your husband adding those personal touches. I think it's beautiful, and just really want to wish you, many, many, please God, more years of marital bliss, and maybe you will catch up with Rosie someday. You're about halfway there.
Yeah. And call us again, Michelle. You said such nice, kind words about the show. We really appreciate it.
Really love your show. Thank you both so much.
Thank you. God bless you.
We love you too. Thank you.
Yeah, absolutely. Okay, I want to mention, first of all, before we go back to calls, another show on EWTN Radio. It's Stories from the Heart with Sandra McDevitt. It's Sunday mornings at 9:15 Eastern Time right here on many of these same EWTN stations. Stories from the Heart features Catholic inspirational stories that are uplifting, bringing the heart and soul closer to God. That's what it's all about. The stories span the late 1800s to the present day. Stories from the Heart with Sandra McDevitt, Sunday mornings, 9:15 Eastern on EWTN Radio.
Okay, sometimes signs and symbols just kind of are like a neon a billboard for us, okay? And Jerry, are you picking up on this on our call screening document? It's so obvious to me. We've had Rose call in, Rosie, and then we're going to another Rose. We've got a Bernadette waiting. We've got a Marie waiting. Okay, what does that tell you, folks? I think the Blessed Mother may be listening today to this beautiful show, and so we need to have somebody say that they have a Blessed Mother, a Virgin Mary statue in their garden, please. I do. Well,
I do.
I think you do too. Okay, and
Yeah.
my sister does too. I think my sister even has my grandmother's statue, which is she's so
Wow.
lucky. Well, her name is Mary Ann. I mean.
Oh, of course, yeah.
Yeah. So I'll give that to her. So Rose in Ohio on Annunciation Radio. Take it away. Hi, Rose.
Hi. How are you?
Great. How are you?
Oh, good. I just wanted to tell you how much I appreciate your show. I listen to you every day. I stumbled upon you probably a year ago when we were having a family health crisis. We almost lost our son on a ventilator for a week with COVID. But by the grace of God and a lot of prayers later, he made it and is perfectly fine. But I'm calling about your house story because I just couldn't help myself but call in today.
Good.
I've been kind of scared to do it before, but today it just struck me because our house, we feel, is our little heaven on earth. We bought the house 39 years ago, the year before we got married, from a family member, and the house itself is over 100 years old. And we thought, you know what? We don't need a big fancy house that'll be cheaper than paying rent. We'll fix it up, and then someday we'll move on and move, wherever we want to our quote-unquote dream house that we built. Little did we know that the 38-acre farm around us that also belonged to the family member would come up for sale. And when we proceeded to go to the lawyer to close the deal with her and, of course, pay the piper, she came in tow with a metal can that looked like probably lead that I shouldn't be touching, from all those years ago. And inside it was the original abstract deed to the property, along with a letter, I'm sure it was a copy, signed by Franklin Pierce. And it was given as a war settlement to one of my husband's far-off ancestors for his service in the military as a scout. Can you imagine?
Wow.
And when we got that, I thought, there is no way in the world I will ever sell this property. The land, of course, is a little bit older than the house, but I always tell people the story, and I go, the house isn't as old. And my husband kindly reminds me that, yes, but it is now over 100 years old. And if that wasn't enough of a goosebump story, okay, our son, when he was born, I guess I'd always prayed for more than one, but that's what the dear Lord blessed me with, and I was grateful for that. But when he was born, we were in the hospital, and it was a rather long day, and my husband at 7 p.m. says, if you don't hurry, we won't have a leap year baby. And I thought, yeah, okay, what's the big deal with that? Yeah, leap year. The lady that we bought the house from, the family member that my husband acquired the house from, her mother, who resides in the house that we live in to this day, birthday was February 29th.
No way.
And so when I heard that, I thought, this is so meant to be. And to think that man, I can't even imagine his life as a scout in the military, stomping on ground that, who knows what was here then. And to think that it was stuck in the family that long, and here she walked into the lawyer's meeting with the original abstract, just always touched my heart.
Wow.
Well, no question about that.
Well, you know where I'm going with this real quickly. You have written this all down, right, Rose, for your family legacy?
Yes.
I mean, this, okay, good.
Oh, yes,
good.
Absolutely. I'm into family genealogy anyway, and I took all of that, and I have it. As a matter of fact, the original's in our firebox, but I made a copy for my foyer wall that hangs on the foyer. That's the letter from Franklin Pierce explaining to Samuel Deweese that, he was going to be given this land as his, payment for being the scout in the military. I have that. And I also have a picture that I got from the lady we bought the house from, her family archive, that has her as a baby in her mother's arms. They got the horse and buggy in our front lawn right outside our living room window. I guess it was their Sunday carriage. And she's a baby in her mother's arms, and her brother and sister in the picture with her. So I also have that in my foyer, because I am a very spiritual person, and when all of that happened, I thought there is no way in the world I personally will ever sell the property.
Yeah.
So,
well, yeah, you almost can't. I mean, it's got so much history and so much meaning, and most of us will never know the history of the homes that we live in, which may be a good thing or a bad thing. We don't know, but you're just showing Rose that a dream, quote unquote, dream home is more than a large price. The cost. It's more than the amenities that make a dream home. It's the history of your home. You said, who knows what was here back in the day, and you just have so many wonderful, wonderful things and wonderful reasons, like you said, to hang on to that home and never sell it, never move out of it. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Great story. Amazing story, Rose. Thank you for sharing it with us today. You have definitely graced this conversation. It was such a gift to us. Thank you. We're going to have to move quickly. We're going to try to get to Marie and Bernadette, but Marie is up first, waiting so patiently, and Marie is in North Dakota. Welcome on Sirius XM 130. Hi, Marie.
Hi. How are you guys today?
Great.
Doing pretty
How are
good.
you?
Doing pretty well.
Well, I have kind of, I'll try to condense this story, but I grew up on a farm in North Dakota, and I couldn't wait to get out of North Dakota, and I went to college and moved to a big city, and then went back to school to advance my degree, and I lived away from the farm until I retired, and then a few years later, my father passed away, and I decided that I needed to get back to my roots in North Dakota. For somebody who couldn't wait to get out of there, that was kind of shocking to everybody. But so now I'm living on the family farm. I've done a little bit of updating of the house, new windows and siding and stuff, just so it lasts for the family, because I would like it to always stay in the family. And it's a beautiful farm. The farmhouse is over 100 years old, and my grandfather did a lot of work in the house. He was a carpenter, put in the cabinets and such. And so, and I do have a statue of Mary.
Good.
And
Good.
yes, I have my beautiful statue of Mary that my brother-in-law, we cut a tree down and we left it tall enough that he could put a grotto in the tree for Mary. And I have morning glories growing by her.
Beautiful. Wow. Thank you, Marie, for calling into the program and sharing that. And once again, you know, you are yet another caller on today's show who's talking about a beautiful, beautiful history of the home that you live in. And you couldn't wait to get away from there, like you said. But I'm so remiss in looking up, you know, even my family's history. So I really need to get into that someday, Debbie. But, you know, a lot of people do that. And it's a great blessing to find out what your history is.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I couldn't agree more. Great story. Thank you so much for sharing it, Marie. We really appreciate it. Okay, this is going to be tight, but Jerry, I think we got to quickly, can we go to the Reader's Digest version of Bernadette? Because sure. Bernadette's in San Francisco in the Bay Area listening on Alexa. Bernadette, you got to be quick, but we wanted to squeeze you in.
I'll be very quick. When I grew up, my father was an appraiser. We'd go to he'd take us with him to help measure the homes. People were very, very poor, and I was always overly focused with having a gorgeous home. And long story short, my husband and I used to go looking at homes, and I saw these big mansions I knew we could never afford, and I was feeling sorry for myself as we left the house, and I heard in my heart God say, "Your mansion, focus on your mansion in heaven." And I never forgot that. My house right now, with all our lives, the same house we lived in, is 1,000 square feet. 7 1 bath, and yes, we want to move because the house is difficult to take care of in our old age. But as far as financially getting things caught up, but I've never forgotten that, and I know what's important in life is family, and I have a lot. I'm rich with friends and family, and I have a wonderful husband. And if I had not moved to this house, which I asked my husband, I don't want to live for more than 5 years. We've been here for like 30 since 1986. My neighbor's daughter is one of my very best, dearest friends. I love very much, and I could not have imagined my life without her in my life. So that's my story.
Awesome. Well, I'm going to go right to Scripture, John 14, verse 14. Do not let your hearts be troubled. You believe in God, believe also in me. My Father's house has many mansions. If that were not so, would I have told you that I'm going there to prepare a place for you?
That's right. Love that passage. Way to go, Bernadette. We're so glad we got you in. Thank you to everyone on the Take Two family, all the comments coming in as well. You guys are awesome. You can continue to email us at take2@ewtn.com. And let's now shift our focus to tomorrow's show, The Real Presence, Jerry.
Real presence of Jesus in the Eucharist. Be thinking and praying about that overnight. We want to hear from you about your love for the Eucharist. If you've had a special touch of Jesus at some point when you, a special gift when you've received Holy Eucharist, and so much more, whatever angle you want to take on that.
And that's tomorrow. So until then, have a beautiful and blessed day. We love the Take Two family. We also love our Take Two show team, Ace and Matt and Michael and Jeff. We love you guys. You guys do a great job. Until tomorrow, take care, you guys, and please pray to St. Joseph.
The most original and exclusive Catholic content is on EWTN Radio.
You know, we talk